Tov, let's go. So, we are talking about a pious individual that follows the Torah, that is working on the two most important aspects of our service to Hashem, which is to serve Hashem with ahava. What's ahava?
Love.
With love. And yira. What's yira?
Yeah.
Fear. You have to fear Him. And you have to always remember the commandment. People always think that it was Rabbi Nachman of Breslov that invented this commandment, but it's actually a pasuk in the Torah. V'samachta b'chol hatov asher noson lecha Hashem Elokecha. And you should be happy with everything that Hashem has given you. So we serve Hashem b'simcha. I know it's hard sometimes because we have to wake up before our body wants to get up. We have to do things sometimes that we don't feel like doing it. But Hashem blessed each and every one of you in lots of different ways. And you should have gratitude and simcha towards Hashem. And even when you face challenges, we call that nisyonot, nisayon, tests. That's a big opportunity. It's a huge opportunity. Because Hashem is giving you an opportunity to learn about your power of emunah, power of bitachon, power over this machine that's called the body. Can you control your body? Can you make it do what you really want? So, person also has to get to a level of tziduk hadin. Tziduk hadin is a term that a person accepts divine justice. That whatever, if certain things happen that are not so good, chas v'shalom, somebody passes away, or other difficult events, then the person isn't affected by it. That is, his emunah and bitachon, trust in Hashem, isn't shaken. The number one, I think, idea here is to get away from arrogance. And arrogance is expressed by us thinking that the world should be according to us. That my life needs to be according to what I want. That I want X amount of money, X amount of health, X amount of this, X amount of that. I want this type of wife. I want these type of kids. I want this car, that house, this. I want to be able to read and learn Gemara, like this. Just open it and read. It doesn't work that way. And if you have a big ego and you're an arrogant person, when things don't go your way, you start complaining and blaming Hashem. Why isn't it like what I want? It's not my fault you're not as good as looking as me. It's not my fault. What do you want me to do? I can't help it that I had these opportunities in my life and you didn't. Or the vice versa, that you had those opportunities and I didn't. There isn't a single person in this world that isn't challenged by something. We all have issues. But the question is, what's our attitude toward those issues? Do we look at it as Hashem now is pointing at us and we are under judgment and He's sticking it to us and He's pounding us? No. Chas v'shalom. If you have the ability to do tziduk hadin, to accept whatever Hashem sends your way, and to say, Kol man derechman avid letova ke'avid, whatever Hashem does is for the best, and you swallow that pill, and he says you will not be affected by all the problems and troubles that happen in the world. Because you understand it's coming from Hashem, and Hashem has a plan. And no, Hashem does not promise that your life is going to be all strawberries and champagne. No. Nowhere in the Torah it means that you should live a life of a cupcake. That's not the purpose of your existence here. The purpose of our existence is to develop our neshama, to purify it, to make it shine. And whether you like it or not, the only way that the neshama is going to shine is through adversity, challenges, nisyonot. Some of them are easy, some of them are a little harder, some of them are even... And there's no quitting. You can't hit a button and say, Hashem, I'm done playing. That's it. I'm out. Shabbat Shalom. It's not going to solve the problem. And so says Rabbi Yehuda Halevi, the whole point of Tziduk Adina, working on this, gives you a better life. You're not affected by the things that happen. That is, the effects are not as destructive to you. And he says that the person has to know that the Kadosh Baruch Hu runs this world al pi midat justice. And he takes care of all the creatures. All the creatures. They're taken care of. Which means that you're also going to be taken care of. You might not be taken care of the way that you think. But chas v'shalom, should a Jew ever believe that Hashem abandoned him? Not at all. Rav Tzadok HaKohen Milublin writes a very powerful idea that our life has two types of periods. Periods of darkness and periods of light. So that's human existence. That's the human condition. You're going to be sometimes in dark times and sometimes in times of light. And it's just a cycle. And that's why the world was created, he says, with darkness to light and darkness to light. And it's something to accept, to understand that this is it, to ask Hashem not to create that, to just give you a life of a cream puff. It's like you're missing the whole point of being a human being. I get that life is difficult. It is. For some people, it's much more difficult than others. Yeah. But you have to trust that what Hashem is doing, He is doing what is best for you and your situation. Even though it's hard to see, this is why the Rabbi Yehuda Halevi says over here, you have to work on your emunah and bitachon in Hashem. And you cannot work on emunah and bitachon when everything is tranquilo. Everything is hakuna matata. Means no worries. Tov, weiter. Whoever has been able to internalize this in his mind, he would reach a level that the Gemara says he's Nachum Ish Gamzu. Because whatever happened to him, Even terrible things happen to him. He always says, Gam zu l'toiva. Gemara and Tanis, if you're interested. Gam zu l'toiva. Even this is for the good. And if you work on this, when the small things happen, for example, you miss a bus, right? Or Shadchanit says, I don't have any girls for you right now. Or you didn't get the job you wanted. Things that are within what we're talking about are small. And you could say, Gam zu l'toiva. Then you get to a point where there are a little harsher things. More difficult things come and you see and you have to say, Gam zu l'toiva. Even if you don't see the goodness right now, you have to believe that that is what's best. We tend to think when somebody passes away that that's terrible. It's only terrible for the people who are here. But for the person himself, woohoo! It's great. Comes to the Kadosh Baruch Hu, whatever they work out, they work out. That's it. Ramchal says that death is a gift from Hashem. Why? Because if you didn't have it, a person could go sinning to a point where he just keeps going and going and going. Nothing is stopping him. Nothing. But if there is death, you just say, okay. So we move from one reality to another reality. And that reality is Olam HaEmes, the world of truth. Here we're living in a world of sheker, of falsity. What's wrong, guys? Everything okay? Yeah. So just making sure that everyone's getting along. Chaim. What'd you lose, Tzaddik?
Dropped my eraser.
So, Gam zu l'toiva. So, Rabbi Yehuda Halevi says that when you reach a level of Gam zu l'toiva, you understand whatever suffering you do have, illnesses, embarrassing situations, difficulties, it's all to give you atonement of sins. It's a lot better to go through this over here than get over there and have to endure it. It's kaparat avonot, what it's called. Atonement of sins. So, great. Cough a little more. Right? Why not? Gam zu l'toiva. Now, this idea of tziduk adin is accepting that whatever Hashem does, Hashem is right. We don't question, we don't say that Hashem got it wrong. At the beginning, we have tainus to Hashem. Why are you doing this? Why can't you do this? Why can't you do that? Why can't I have this? Why? But at some point, theologically, you have to grow up. You have to understand that the Kadosh Baruch Hu runs the world according to His plan. And it's not about you. I make the point every once in a while. I ask the question, what's really the difference between a secular person and a religious person? Now you could say there are lots of things. But I think I want to boil it down to one point. A secular person says, this is my life, and this life belongs to me. And a religious person says, this life belongs to Hashem. And so, from that point, the person who says this is my life says, I get to decide what I want. It's up to me. Whereas a religious person says this life belongs to Hashem, I do what Hashem says. So that's not such a big difference. But apply this principle to every decision a person makes in a lifetime. If we live Jewishly, right? You open your eyes in the morning when you're in bed. You ask, what does a Jew do? What does Hashem want me to do? Moedeh ani lefanecha. Okay, moedeh ani lefanecha. Next. Tfilat yadayim, getting dressed, going to minyan. Right? Before you eat, you ask, wait a second, is this kosher? What hechsher? Right? You grab your phone. All right, should I be watching this? Well, I need to find a shidduch. I need some ideas. All right, but at least you're playing the game. You get it? But a secular person says, oh, what do I want to do today? Nothing. Or, I got to go to work. I want to make money. A religious person could say, I'm going to work to make money. Why? Because I have a mitzvah from the Kadosh Baruch Hu to take care of my family. So the whole 8 hours that he's working become a mitzvah. It's the perspective, it's the intention. And that's what Rabbi Yehuda Halevi is trying to tell us. That a person who is pious, he lives Hashem, he breathes Hashem, he is constantly thinking, what can he do in order to serve Hashem? And whatever is dealt, whatever cards are dealt, it is within the framework of emunah and bitachon in Hashem, that he knows that Hashem is doing what's best for him. So even if you don't do well in a class, I don't want to mention any names, Yudah, it's from Shamayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling you, my friend, this is what's best for you. Now, you might think like, no, I have a plan. And my plan is, I don't want to tell you what people make plan, what Hashem does with those plans. Because I can tell you that I never planned to be teaching in a yeshiva, teaching Torah, and speaking online. If you would have asked me before, I would tell you, before I came, when I landed in Israel, I never thought this would be the plan. I had no idea. Kadosh Baruch Hu has a plan for each and every one of us. He has a plan for you. You might think the plan is to make you a psychologist. It might not be his plan for you. Maybe his plan for you is to become a Rebbe. You're like, no way. Come on, Rabbi. I don't know. Part of what's exciting, if you live with emunah and bitachon, is to know that every day Hashem has something planned for you. Something is in order here. Something is going to happen. Whether it's a new daf, whether it's a new experience, you're going to meet somebody new. Like I met somebody new today. Everybody met David? He doesn't know what house it is. He's normal. Sorry. Normal. How's it is South African for how are you? Or what's up? How's it?
How is it?
How's it? I don't say how is it. Yes, Tzaddik.
So if everything's planned out for you already, and there's all these plans that that you don't, like all these events that you don't even plan for, then if you're going and ending up in bad situations where you're not supposed to end up, where you're not supposed to end up in, but it was all planned already. So how do you explain that?
Okay. Ephemeral, very good question. The world was built with your input. It's called free will. Kadosh Baruch Hu creates situations and he places you in that situation. And I'm told that there are these video games, right? So that you're walking the character and you have 3 rooms, A, B, and C, right? If you go to A, right, then you'll have this monster, this, and then, you get these prizes, whatever it is. And if you get to this one, then you'll have another road like this and they'll go. That's essentially how your life is. That is, Hashem is creating that reality for you. And you make decisions. Well, what do you want? You want to stay in yeshiva or you want to go back? Let's say you say, I'm going back. It's okay, so I'm going back. What am I going to do? Am I going to get a job at the Frogan Yozert place? Or am I going to get a job, I don't know, doing taxes? That is, you are making decisions. And those decisions impact what's coming down for you. And once something is coming down, you react to it. And the whole system then reacts to that. So if you are interested in heading towards Kedusha, you get help from Shammai. If you want to go towards Tuma, they let you. You want to sin? It's up to you. Hashem is not going to stop you. I don't want to give you specific examples, but I'm sure you can remember times that you sinned, right? And Hashem didn't freeze your hand from sinning. He gave you the ability to continue to sin. So you have free reign to sin. That's part of the game. But your starting point was determined by Hashem. That is, you were born into a particular family, in a particular situation, particular characteristics. Right? You get this sort of, imagine you're the actor. Your neshama gets this is my role. Now within this role, I can now decide how this person is going to be. Are you going to be the George Costanza? Or are you going to be the successful one? You're going to be the guy that's living in La La Land? Or are you going to be, those are your choices. And when you make a choice, right, you made a choice to come to yeshiva. Now you're already over here. Now the question, do you go down here or do you go to the next level? That's up to you. Hashem is not going to determine that for you. And in each whatever it is, there are consequences. Obviously. Yeah, you go to Shidduchim, you get this, you get choices. Let's say you meet this girl and you go, I think this could work. Okay, that would give you one type of life. And then if you get Surah Bela from Maz Sharim, you'd give you a completely different life. You have choices. Yeah.
How do you know what's like? Obviously, there's right.
How do I know what's like?
No. I'm saying, how do you know what they're right? And obviously, there's right and wrong. From a general standpoint, but from things where it's kind of like foggy. How do you know? Because, for example, let's say you're in yeshiva.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is like for me or anyone. I'm just saying.
Don't say anymore. Because we had 4 likes and then that's it. Yes.
Let's say you're in yeshiva, for example, and all these things start happening. Let's say someone, back home, there's like something God forbid, like a tragedy back home.
Or a good thing.
Or,
you get offered a job for $150,000 a year.
Exactly.
Doing nothing.
Yeah.
right? All you have to do is manage, collect rent and this and that. And now you have a chance. Now you have a choice.
Yeah.
Good. So there isn't a single person that isn't faced with these type of situations. And when I'm faced with these type of situations, I go to my Rav and I ask, what should I do here? What's the right thing to do? Is it this way or this way? Because sometimes I can't see straight. I can't really tell what Hashem really wants because of these factors. And you put it in front of your Rav, and he'll help you go through the sugya. There's no prophets. Nobody can tell you, if you do this, then everything will be fine, and you're going to have a white picket fence home with a backyard and a little kinderlach and a cute little hamster, whatever. Nobody can guarantee you anything. But if somebody's sitting and learning in yeshiva, and Hashem offers him a job, let's say the job pays $100,000. Okay? And the person decides to take the job. He's telling Hashem, $100,000 is what is more important than Torah. You could always ask yourself, am I strong enough in my emunah, bitachon, observance, my learning, to go out in the real world? If the answer is yes, and you're ready to the next stage, which means develop a professional career so you can get married and have a Jewish home, that's the right thing to do. But if you're not there, you're not strong enough in your connection to Hashem and your Torah learning and everything, then it would be the wrong idea to leave. It is a nisa, it's a test. But that Hashem is testing you. And we're all faced by these tests. Like there's a guy who thinks that, staying in Ulpan, that's going to bring him salvation. So if he says, to himself, I'll finish the Ulpan, then I come to yeshiva. Should ask himself, what would 3 more weeks in Ulpan going to get you compared to starting Elul in yeshiva? Are you really going to become now fluent because you spent, another few weeks? Mamash lo. Mamash lo. Mamash lo. Lama lo? Because ultimately, the most important thing that a person can study for himself, for the Jewish people, is Torah. If the person, if the person doesn't believe in the Torah, doesn't believe in Hashem, okay, so he's not going to listen. Because to him, he doesn't understand what the point is. But if he does, then he knows that he's got 40 days before Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur to show Hashem what's important. So, yeah, Nick.
Not that example was directed at anybody.
No, not at all. No, it was directed towards somebody, but not here. He's somebody from the audience.
Yeah, of course.
In some like kibbutz chatzuva, I don't know.
Something like
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
how wouldn't a similar argument be able to be made that, what's 3 more weeks going to do for you in Ulpan? What's 3 more weeks going to do for you in Torah study? If I would say that the argument is that they're planning to go to do Torah study anyways after.
Yafa, listen. Yafa sha'a achat kodem. 1 hour earlier is even more beautiful. There's a principle. There's a principle that we have to always have our priorities straight. And there's always going to be sacrifices in life. Thank God, if a person has a degree, has a path to making a living and everything, then that's taken care of. He's got a big blessing from Hashem. So now is the time. As we say in Japanese, chaval al hazman. Don't waste time. Don't waste time. 3 weeks at Ohr Somayach, you can become a brand new person. I know people that came here for 2 weeks and changed their lives. Changed their lives. That didn't mean that they, joined the cult. Chas v'shalom. Because this is not a cult at all. But they changed their lives in terms of their priorities, in terms of what they understand, what sort of life they want. They made a commitment to marry somebody Jewish. Those things are big. Because in America, it's not so easy. One of the curses of America was that from the beginning, I think it was 1654 when the Jews entered the North America. I think that was the date. No, 1648 is the Treaty of Westphalia. It's earlier than that. All right, I'll look it up. But very early, there was always a high intermarriage rate for Jews in America. Always. And part of it is that non-Jews look at Jews as marriable partners, which is terrible. That makes it hard. There are actually books, the Shiksit Guide to a Jewish Husband. I'm not kidding, look it up.
That's what it's called? The Shiksa Guide?
Mm-hmm. It's not crazy. Look it up. So, the fact that a Jew comes here and in 2 weeks makes a decision that he is going to commit to marry a Jewish girl, that to me is a life-changing decision. Because it guarantees that his kids are going to be Jews, at least born Jews. And if he takes on some mitzvot and a little bit of learning to continue to grow, be part of a Jewish community, that's already a life-changing event. And it just continues a different path than if he married some, I don't know, and had a completely different life. So I think that if you see and that you understand that the Kadosh Baruch Hu provided an opportunity for you and He's putting before you a choice. Red pill, blue pill. Ohr Somayach, Ulpan. It's a choice. And I'm a big fan of being in yeshiva in Elul because it's very intense. It's 40 days. And the whole yeshiva is geared to getting ready for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, working on ourselves, improving ourselves, and everybody is in this together. It's a very powerful experience. It's once in a lifetime. You might never have this opportunity again. Because you, Bezrat Hashem, you'll find a girl, you get married, you're not going to be able to come to yeshiva, tell her, listen, I'll see you in 40 days. Where are you going? It's a big opportunity. Yes, sir.
In an example, like somebody wants to draw himself towards Torah learning or like going to yeshiva, but he has obstacles in his way. What's the distinction between him trying to do his ishtadlus and the rest of the Hashem?
Well, I think that in these type of questions, you have to always look at the particulars. There isn't a general answer, because different people will have different situations. But let's say just a generic case, that the person has some bills, he's got to, earn some money, he's got this, he's got that, and he has an opportunity to come to yeshiva. In that sense, I think that he needs to do it. What happens all the odds? You work it out. Work it out in all sorts of ways. I can't tell you how many guys apply to yeshiva. When I speak to them, they want to come. Then they call me and say, Rabbi, I got a job. I just have a girlfriend. All of a sudden, the Yetzer Hara gives them these wonderful jobs to deter them from coming to yeshiva. And it's a big nisayon. It's a big test. Because the guy is making X amount of money. He thinks that how can I give this up now? How can you give it up? Who do you think gave you this job? It's the Kadosh Baruch Hu gave it to you. So you think what? You're going to come, Yudah, you're going to come, do what Hashem wants, and you think Hashem is not going to reward you for this? So some people will say, okay, Rabbi, I'm in. But then they start getting challenged. Like, Rabbi, I'm doing what Hashem wants and things are not going my way. That's called nisayon. Every Baal Tshuva will tell you that once you say, okay, I'm going to path of Kedusha, all of a sudden, all your old ex-girlfriends, they all want to see you right now. They didn't want to speak to you before, but now, since somebody they found out that you went to yeshiva, now little Christina wants to talk to you. Davka, now you're getting all of these job offers and all the little tests. Or now it becomes harder. You don't have a roommate that you like. You don't have a good chavrusa. The stender is broken. You don't like the Gemara. The Rabbi yelled at you. All these nisyonot. So that what? That you should leave. If you knew how much spiritual power you're adding to Kedusha, you would never leave this seat. Mincha.